questions. And as noted earlier this week, we won't have an availability Thursday, so if you have anything on Charlotte, go ahead and ask that as well. Ben?
Yeah, BJ, you made a lot of changes to the lineup. What did you make of the guys who maybe haven't got as many minutes so far this season in their performance in a competitive match?
Yeah, I mean, I thought overall you saw good individual performances by a lot of players that linked into what I think was a really good team performance. The cup knockout games kind of. I mean, you got to give credit to Chattanooga, the way they were set up, the way they came into the game was really good. Made it very difficult for us to play and get some rhythm. But I thought what we saw tonight is that the depth of our team and the versatility of our team was, a nice positive.
And then I know it's pretty early, but I'm just curious if you've had any info on Taylor and his injury.
So I don't have any info. Taylor, they're going to do a full medical. Once he was kind of cleared that he couldn't continue, they'll do a full medical on him tonight. Maybe it'll probably end up being tomorrow, and we should have more information.
BJ, I guess what changed for you guys after Taylor's injury in the first half, coming in with Jack at center back and Wyatt moving out to left back?
Yeah, so I think Wyatt's shown he's a real versatile player. Started this year as a center midfielder, came in as a center back out of college, and we've actually been using him a little bit at left back. Not only in training, but we'd send him down to Huntsville again, which is I can only continue to reiterate how important the pathway that we have is, and having that opportunity. So for us, it was Jack sliding into his natural position, Chris Applewhite playing his natural position, and Wyatt has already done that. So, we had kind of, I would say, had spoken about that. Not that we knew that Taylor was going to go down, but the Open Cup rules make you have less players on the bench than a MLS game. So we had discussed that guys that are on the bench might have to play multiple positions, be ready to play multiple positions.
Yeah, and I guess, what did you make of just the way you started the game? For the first 20 minutes leading up to Josh's goal, and I guess what maybe changed, if anything, after that point.
Yeah, I think you're in a cup competition. The guys are getting their legs here Tuesday night. For us, it was I thought we were a little bit disconnected in our build-up. We had players too far apart. And then as we kind of got the rhythm going, I thought we were able to have some success and create some chances. It's always hard when there's a back five and they're deep, and you got to really earn your opportunities. But I think once we were able to sort of get closer connections with everybody, we were I thought we were able to move the ball, move it side to side, and create some decent chances.
Nashville have never lost in regulation time a home game in the U.S. Open Cup. Just what does that record mean to you, and how important is it to try to keep that going?
I didn't know that. So listen, I mean, I've said this from the beginning weeks ago. I said it in the beginning. We take the U.S. Open Cup seriously, and it's an opportunity for this club to earn a trophy. And also is a pathway for us to go compete against the elite of North America, and that's what we want to do. That's our long-term vision, and so if that means winning in regulation, we'll take it all the time. But it shows, I think, the professionalism of the performances and the approach that, one, as a club we take, and two, the guys in the team, how serious they take this.
And then you had a lot of younger players out there, notably Corcoran and Applewhite, playing against what is a very physical Chattanooga side. What kind of a learning experience do you think that's going to be for them?
Yeah, I think tonight was a great opportunity for them. Dealing with a team that played fairly direct, challenging, physical, wise, in sort of the game within the game. So I think you saw them, Wyatt, Chris, Matt, really Johnny, really I think step up to that challenge, especially on the physicality side, and they didn't back down. And again, everything about their development is, step by step, and that's a nice thing that they kind of experienced and can now have that experience to build on.
Hey, BJ, you won, you advanced, so obviously that's a positive. But from my perspective, I thought there were a lot more goals left for you guys to score out there. You created a good amount of chances. What do you think was missing to kind of maybe get 2, 3, something you've talked about in the past to kind of keep going and score?
Yeah, I think I think we were able to get ourselves into good final pass opportunities, like spaces in the penalty box. I don't think we executed that well, and I think looking back a little bit, we probably need to get our runs a little bit more spaced out, and try to open up a couple areas in front of the goal a little bit better. I think that's across the board, not only tonight, but overall. But I was happy to where we sort of got the final pass to, and then we just need to execute it and have a little bit, I would say, clear final actions.
And then just on Charlotte, real quick, you played them fairly recently, so it's still kind of fresh, and they were sort of last-minute winner away from home. So do you use that at all when you're trying to motivate players, maybe as, kind of not revenge necessarily, but, something to pay back what kind of happened in Charlotte?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to use it as motivation, but it's certainly not lost on us. Like, we played them recently. We thought we played pretty well. We didn't finish the game great. They're an Eastern Conference opponent. We know where they are in the table. So I know that this group is going to be up for that game. So for me, I think just whenever you're going to play a team again, there's a lot that you can learn from. But yeah, there's always going to be the carryover, and expect it to be a competitive game the same way I'm sure they're going to approach it from our end, that they had a lot of success in that second half, and they're going to be, motivated to kind of come in and show that they can do it again.
BJ, obviously you already said that there were good individual performances as well, like Johnny's and some other guys. But I was thinking, I want you to give us a hint of what Corcoran does tonight, and what that is. It tempting for you? Being the fact that you always start, or most of the guys, that Jasbek and Eddie there, to kind of switch things around and also try to make him come in there in one position.
Yeah, that's his job, is to make my job hard. And tonight he put a performance in that I would say gets him another step, closer, and shows that he can do it. He's a player, I think you saw, can go box to box. What I really like about Matt is he can play in multiple phases of game. So, he helps you low in build up, then he goes and supports you when we're finishing attacks, and then when we lose the ball, he presses it, and then if they hit direct, he's running in transition to go get the second ball. So he's able to, his motor and his engine are able to keep him playing in multiple phases without taking a break. And so, I think as an 18-year-old kid, tonight was a great step forward for him. And he's only adding to the competition across this group and in that center midfield.
On the other hand, how do you tell us about the Brian Acosta performance tonight? He's been away for a long time, injury and everything else. How do you assess what he did in the game tonight?
Yeah, I thought Brian was really professional tonight. Again, a guy who's been away for a little bit, has only had a couple minutes, 45, 50 minutes in Huntsville to kind of get him back going. So really nice to see him be able to go. And I think he does a lot of things that maybe fly a little bit under the radar, with just kind of how simple he can play, how quickly he can kind of clean a ball up, bouncing ball, make a really good clean pass. So for me, he was able to sort of press forward really well in second, sort of an impressed after loss moment. So I thought Brian had a really, really, what I would say, like, he's not going to fill the stat sheet up with much, but was a real, I think, key contributor in our center midfield tonight.
Sticking with the midfield, Gaston Bugman, you've mentioned about just filling those pockets. If it's not Brugman in there, if it's Hani or whoever, just for Brugman's sake and his performance, how do you feel like he fit into those pockets tonight? I know Chattanooga was pretty challenging when it came to defending, but how do you think his assessment was tonight?
Yeah, I thought we tried to deploy Gaston in a little bit of a different role tonight, pushing him probably higher up the field than typically where he plays for us. With that idea of, can he find the ball in between the lines? Can he try to make some final passes? I think again, Chattanooga was set up well. They defended the space in front of their back line pretty well. It was hard for us to get in there. And I think as the game went on, the game opened up, you saw some of that quality that Gaston was able to do. Quick combination play, was able to turn himself face forward, play a few final passes, and then I think had maybe 2 or 3 pretty good, goal scoring chances in the penalty box. So, for me, I thought that was, something a little bit. I don't think he's done it in his career. He hasn't done it for us, and so I think it was a good step forward.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate
Great.
it.
Thanks, guys.